My name is Dion Jordan, NFL defensive end, outside linebacker. Today I'm fighting for myself simply because I look forward to my life moving forward, and I'm just willing to let go of the things and the people who just don't serve me and just won't help me get there, just won't allow me, and the people who won't allow me to stop. So I'm just working hard for myself and to let go of the things that the people that can hold me back.
Awesome. Cool. So this whole thing about you fighting for you, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So let's go ahead and start with jumping jacks, because today's workout's going to be our body weight blast. And what that means is kind of like compiling what we've done all week. On Fridays during training camps, kind of what we do is to really test the body's endurance, both physically and mentally. So we'll start with every single activity today is going to be 3 minutes long of same activity. So we'll start number one with just jumping jacks for 3 minutes, okay? Even if your pace has to change and you're getting tired and you need to go slower and elongate more, that's fine. The whole goal is to have you consistently just stay active with this 3 minute goal, okay? Once your 3 minutes of jumping jacks are over, hand on your diaphragm and just go ahead and breathe. Okay, you're gonna have a minute rest between each 3 minute set. Okay, very similar to boxing rounds or amateur MMA rounds. 3 minute rounds, 1 minute rest. So get that deep breath into your diaphragm, your 1 minute is up. Now we're gonna go get into a push-up position. Feet shoulder width apart, hands shoulder width apart, chest over the hands, and you're just gonna pump for 3 minutes. So it's really, really important to understand, to know your capacity. Okay, so go ahead, D. 3 minutes of push-ups. So don't sprint these things out, or sprint them out, or don't go too slow, and whatever it is, you know your capacity, so try to delegate that over the course of 3 minutes. Understand your twist and your motion, okay? So D, kind of turn over towards the mirror now. As what Dion just did is that he got a little exhausted from being in that position of being able to tell himself, like, look, if I want to maintain this, I need to modify my position. So he dropped to his knees, okay? So say he's going on his knees, and now he needs to modify his position again. He brings his knees closer to his chest. But the one thing he's not doing, he's not stopping the push-ups, because the mission is, I have to carry the push-ups out. We don't want to be in the mindset of being able to do something at 100% and all of a sudden go to 0. There's a lot of room for us to be able to slowly start working back and to be able to recover and gain a little bit of strength to keep pursuing. So now that he's given himself a bit of a rest, he's going to go back into his regular push-up position and start charging out and keep pushing out, okay? So the goal is 3 minutes of activity. Sometimes Dion's going to go back to his knee and his arms are just shot, but he's just going to go a quarter of the way now. Again, the whole mission here is about being able to just move forward with the task at hand. At all costs, we never stop, okay? That's the mentality that we do with these 3 minute blasts. So, time. So Dion just did 3 minutes of that, okay? He has a whole minute of just deep breaths into his diaphragm, reset from the stress, reset from the anxiety, from the unknown of how he's going to feel. But the one thing he was able to prove to himself, that he could always adjust and modify to be able to complete the task at hand. And at this point, it was push-ups. Okay, so number 3 is just going to be a very simple traditional plank hold. Okay, elbows on the ground, feet together, shoulder width apart. So say Dion's now 1 minute into this thing, and he's feeling like, oh man, this is getting a little too exhausting. I'm just gonna stop. No, he spreads his legs a little bit. Okay, he makes his base a little wider. He adjusts. Okay, he actually starts putting a little bit of weight on one side versus the other to try to just create a little bit of rest state. Again, to not stop the mission. He's just modifying his position and his angles to be able to accomplish the mission. He goes to his knees, which is okay. But because he's on his knees, he starts pushing his weight forward towards the camera a little bit. And he adjusts his position. He kind of pulls back. But again, what Dion's doing is he's consistently being conscious of this confidence of like, look, it doesn't matter how I do this at this point. I'm just always going to find a way to stay in this position and stay in this lane of plank, okay? So time. Dion does 3 minutes of that, okay? Dion now takes his deep breaths and he moves in to sitting on his butt, locking his legs out, Hands to the sides, like they're in his pockets, and shoots them up for military presses. As he hits these military presses, he's picking up a pretty good pace at the beginning, but then you remind him, hey my man, you got 3 minutes of this. Is that the pace you want to carry? Can you maintain and sustain this pace for 3 minutes? Well, he modifies it a little bit, okay? He modifies that position a little bit, and the cadence, and the speed. And it gets to a point sometimes where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to bang out a sprint of these things. Boom, picks up the sprint to show him he can do it, okay? Then he comes back into a slower cadence and a slower pace because he knows he has to maintain 3 minutes of this thing, okay? Modifications he can make here sometimes, his arms might just be completely shit exhausted, okay? Slows it down, takes a breath. Again, it doesn't say you gotta be at a particular speed. You just gotta get the mission done of being able to do something for 3 minutes. He's done with this, takes a deep breath into his diaphragm, got a whole minute of that. He stays seated, so turn your ankle D with your feet that way. He lays on his back flat for the next activity. Legs locked out straight up to the sky. Hands to his side. Now he's going to do a really good job of keeping his elbows pinned to the ground, so he's not crunching forward, but he's crunching up and really pushing off of his triceps and his elbows, okay? So a really cool little activity here is just putting your palms down under your low back. Under your low back. There you go. And then drive your elbows into the ground, lock your legs straight out, and take your forehead to the ceiling for 3 minutes. Forward and back, up and down, up and down, up and down. So these little ab crunches that help stabilize his spine. We're not putting too much compression on the discs or the nerves because he's not doing 3 minutes of that. He's actually just going up, working on stabilizing his spine and his core for 3 minutes, okay? Once this is done, Dion goes ahead and rolls over, gets to his feet, puts his hands on his low back, stretches out his abdominals, his low back, any sort of tension he may have had for a whole minute. For number 6, Dion gets into a squatted position. Feet shoulder width apart, he gets as deep as he possibly can. The goal here is to start as deep as you possibly can, and you're going to your high point of your tippy toes. Okay, we're going to go 2 extremes. So you go as low as you can to his tippy toes. Squats non-stop. Good. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and slowly as the legs start to fatigue, he modifies how deep he goes. So now he doesn't go as deep, but he still tries to go as high as he can. Right? So he's 2 minutes in now. Again, he's not stopping the mission. He just barely squats down at 25% now. That's it. But he's consistently going to the extreme, okay, which is the tip of the toes. Time. Dion rests, he gets his breath, he spreads his legs. He puts his hands on the ground. Spread your legs. Put your hands on the ground. And we're going to do walkouts for 3 minutes. Again, these walkouts can go all the way far out as you possibly can be. Nice pull with your core, bring it back. Okay, your second one is in minute 2, so go ahead. He goes half that distance and back, and he goes a quarter of that distance, his third minute. But again, he's not stopping the mission. Okay, so it's 3 minutes of walkouts. Time. So those are your 7 activities for the full weight body blast. And it's going to be super, super important that we always take a 1 minute rest in between those, and that'll kind of put you at your 30-minute session. So I'm hoping you guys all do the same and really figure out, again, this thing is about capacity and it's about mental capacity, endurance, okay? Physically, you show yourself you're capable, carry it over into other things, like my man Dion has in the fights and the struggles he's gone through in his career and where he's put himself today is why he's here and what he wants to share. Thank you.
Stand up.